Todd Chrisley, the name of your show is Chrisley Knows Best. Would you say that's an accurate statement?
I don't know how much I know best about. It's certainly the name of the show, but I'd like to say that I know best about trying to know best.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell us how this show got started, because I assume you never thought that you would become a reality TV star in your lifetime.
No, I was actually working with a young lady, Annie Kate Pines, who was working with me on another project, and we worked together for about 6 months. And she got a job offer to go to work for OWN Network, and I guess about 4 weeks after she went to work there, she called me and she said, "I have a favor." And I said, "Okay." And she said, "Would you let me do a sizzle reel of you and your family?" And I said, "A what?" And she said, "A sizzle reel." And I said, "What's a sizzle reel?" And she explained it to me. And I said, "But why?" She said, "Because I really think that you are meant for television." And I said, "Annie, you know, we're from the South. We don't put all of our dysfunction on the front porch for everyone to see." So she said, "Would you please do it? It really helped me out with my new job and whatever." I said, "Well, how long is this going to take? What do I have to do?" So she told me, long story short, she said, I agreed to it. You know, she ended up getting Adam Greener, who was with her at the time there at OWN, to decide as to whether or not he was going to, wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And they called and said that yes, that they wanted to do it. They flew in for 3 days and said that, it took them 3 days to shoot the sizzle reel. And they said, "We'll be back in touch with you." And 6 weeks, I guess, went by, and they came back and they said, they said, how do you say it? Adam says, "We have presented this to 10 networks.
Mm-hmm.
And those 10 and out of the 10 networks, 9 of them have come back with an offer."
Oh.
And I said, "You're kidding me." And he said, "No." He said, he said, "I've done a ton of shows. I've never had this kind of excitement about a show." And I said, and I was really shocked by that, because I was like, why would anyone really give a shit about what we're doing? And so long story short, there became a bidding war, and certain networks dropped out. And, we had A&E that was bidding on it, and A&E said, "We're going to have to back out because we have the Robertson family, and we believe you have a huge hit here. But with what we've put behind the Robertson family, we believe it would compete, and we can't have the two competing." So Oprah's network OWN was a very strong contender. Their order was for, I think, 26 episodes, an hour long. And I felt like that, who the hell wants to deal with us in their home for an hour? I mean, 30 minutes was a long time. And, USA was always in there, Bravo, Lifetime, E. And I really felt like, okay, you got the Kardashians on E. So, look what E did with Kardashians. So, I'm going to go to E. And then I started researching and realized that USA was truly the mothership. It was the largest cable network out there. So I felt like that they didn't have anything like that. They had not succeeded in that reality stream yet. And they were really wanting the show. So we ended up going with USA, and was the greatest gift that we've ever had. It's a network that has truly embraced us. Their viewers have embraced us, and they're like family to us now. So we've been very blessed with it.
Mm-hmm. What is it about you and your family that you think made the show something that all these networks wanted to bid on?
I think it's because so many people in this country are so much like us in so many ways. There's we have a large family, and there's a relatability factor there. So, someone in your family can relate to what I'm dealing with, or what Julie's dealing with, or what the kids are dealing with. If you've got a family of 4 and you got 2 teenagers, obviously they're gravitating towards, what Chase and Savannah's going through. If it's me, you know, if it's a father or a husband or whatever, they're looking at me. It's the weirdest thing, though, you know, when it was set up that way, you would have thought, well, you know, your followers are going to, you know, your teenage, you know, girls are going to follow Chase, and your teenage guys are going to follow Savannah, and, you know, the moms are going to follow me and Julie. It so did not turn out that way, because I have so many teenagers that follow me and that, you know, communicate with me via Twitter and via Instagram and what have you, and Facebook. And I think that after all the research that's been done, we have the most diverse demographic following of any show that the network has.
Mm-hmm. So you go from just being your average everyday family to having a TV crew following your every move. How does that affect your day, you know, in what you're doing?
Well, you know, we're filming, you know, we signed up for it. And, you know, in the first season, you know, everything was all, you know, coming up roses. Everything's great. It's new. It's exciting. You know, it's your first ride at the amusement park. You get a second season, you're kind of more equipped to know what you're facing. And certainly now we're in our third season. But we have been so blessed with having the same crew that we started out with. I mean, we retain 95% of our crew. And they're like family to us now. So, you know, they have a huge respect level for us as we do them. And if it's going on in our family, you're going to see it. I mean, we don't have a whole lot that we're keeping out. I mean, I feel like that for the dedication that the fans have given us and the loyalty, we owe it to them to let them see whatever's going on. And that's what we give you.
Mm-hmm. So what percentage of it would you say is reality versus what you might say, well, maybe if I said this, it might make a good quote for Twitter?
Okay, well, I think that I think that when people say things like that, you're giving us more credit than what you should. I think, you know, we certainly, if it comes up, it comes out. Mm-hmm. And they, you know, that's why it's been such a beautiful relationship with USA. They don't filter us. They turn the cameras on. They've told us from day one, we're a fly on the wall. Whatever's going on, we're going to get it. If we can use it, we use it. If we don't, we don't. So we're not prepped. We're not told, go do this. You know, how do you feel about going and doing this? Because I have too many kids and 2 grandchildren. I don't need someone telling me what to do. Hell, I'm fighting off the dysfunction now. I don't need to create any more.
Right. So let's talk about the episode that was submitted for Emmy consideration, which is when you and your family go to LA. Can you talk a bit about the production of that episode and why you think it stands out among the rest in the season as being worthy of awards consideration?
You know, I think that when you start even talking to me about an Emmy nomination, it's so far beyond my grasp of reality to think that I'm even having this conversation with you about that. I think that it's a wonderful episode. It's a very clean, wholesome episode. My mother is truly one of a kind. She loves her grandchildren more than she loves her children. And, you know, she's constantly feeding them cash. As I'm cutting it off at the front door, she's bringing it in the back door. So she says it's not her job to tell her grandchildren, no, that's my job. I think that people relate to it. You know, when that show aired, it was one of the highest rated shows of the season. And they, you know, our fan base loves to see what we're doing and this fish out of water mentality. Mm-hmm. And they also love to see that we're going through a lot of the things that they're going through with their teenagers. And I could sit down and cry about it, or I could, you know, laugh about it or get my point across while at the same token having some humor in it. Mm-hmm. I think that when I was younger, I had a fear of saying no to someone, you know, for fear that they wouldn't like me or that I would offend you or whatever. I mean, no just came across as rude to me. So I've developed a pattern of saying no to you while at the same token letting you laugh about being told no. So I think that for the show to be nominated for an Emmy or to even be considered for that, we certainly don't expect it. We're blown away from the fact that it's even being discussed. But I think that particular show is a very feel-good moment.
Mm-hmm. So we talked earlier about the name of the show being Chrisley Knows Best, and you said that you try to know best. Is it ever difficult to know best, especially if you have cameras on you all the time?
Well, I think that anything that we're doing in our life, Zach,
Mm-hmm.
I've pretty much thought it through before I kind of walk down that path. And I kind of look at, okay, what are the pros and what are the cons? I think it's difficult for myself as well as any other parent, husband, son, to always try to know the right answer. I think if we knew the right answer, we certainly wouldn't be screwing up. But I certainly believe that I put forth a very concerted effort to research and to kind of go through things in my mind and in my heart as to whether or not I believe this is the right thing. So do I know best on everything? No. Do I believe that in my heart at the time that I give you the advice that I give you, that it's the best advice that's available to me? Yes.
Mm-hmm. So the latest season premiered to about 3 million viewers.
Yes.
Where do you see this show heading with its popularity growing?
Who would have thought 3 million viewers? I mean, coming out of the gate for season 3. I mean, that's a blessing within itself. The fact that we have a season 3 is a blessing in this, in this arena. You have shows like, the Robertson Family, who I believe is the highest rated show reality television wise that's been out there. Then you certainly have the machine of the Kardashians running. Those are certainly shows that have paved the way for us and that have made certain aspects of it easier. Where I would like to see the show go, would I love to have numbers like that? Yes. Would I love to be able to be in that many households, one night a week? Absolutely. But I'm okay with 3 million viewers. I'm okay with if I'm touching the lives of if our family's touching the lives of 3 million viewers in a positive way, then I'm okay with that. If I can touch 6 million in a positive way, great. But I'm not interested at all in our show becoming a train wreck. I'm not interested in our show becoming something that's fiction. I'm not looking for it to become scripted and you telling us, placing us in situations that we wouldn't as a family do. I just told you that before I do something, I try to think it through. So when it gets to the point that, if it comes to that point, then we have to have a bigger discussion as to whether or not we've kind of overstayed our welcome.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned something, if you can touch 3 million people positively,
mm-hmm.
as opposed to just, if I can have 3 million viewers, you look at it as this is a positive message.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the underlying goal of the show, to maybe affect people in a more positive way, as opposed to maybe just portraying some, alternative reality for fame?
We're certainly prayerful that it would be a positive experience for you. We would certainly hope that after a long day at work on Tuesday, that you come home, you sit down with your wife or your significant other or your husband or whatever, and you have a nice dinner and you bathe your children and you sit down and you watch our show and you laugh for 30 minutes. We hope that you get that. We hope that's what you take from the show. We hope that you take very heartfelt moments of a real family who deal with real issues, but we love each other through it. Now, we don't like each other, Zach, all the time, but we have never had a moment where we didn't love each other. And so, yeah, I hope that you do I hope that when you turn your television off, I hope that you feel that you've been affected in a positive manner.
Well, that's certainly a great goal to have. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me, and congratulations on the success of this show.